welcome back to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry, and this is Monday Quilt Chat. Welcome in. Thanks for coming and listening to me chat about quilt things, about fabric techniques, quilt news, what I'm doing, what everybody else is doing, anything I can think of to chat about, as well as an art quilt picture at the end of this video. You want to stay for that. And I guess I'm going to start out by just being perfectly honest with you and telling you that this is Friday night. No, this isn't Sunday night. It's Friday night. Why? Because I won't be around here to make a video for you on Sunday. So I decided to go ahead and get it done this Friday evening. But it's Monday morning for you. For some of you, it's Monday evening or Sunday evening or Tuesday morning. I don't know. Whatever time zone you're in, you're watching me at the normal time. But this is Friday night for me. So I don't have a ton to report because I just talked to you yesterday. But, you know, a whole week has gone by since we last chatted on Monday Quilt Chat. So I do have some things to share with you. So get your cup of coffee, cup of tea, your Diet Coke, whatever your beverage of the day is on this Monday morning of yours. So I had a class Friday morning at my local quilt store. That's the Sew and Vac Authority of Clarksville, Indiana. And two ladies there gave a long arm class using rulers and also some tips and tricks on free motion and binding and different things like that. So I learned some things, and I did happen to purchase a new ruler that can be used for this purpose. You see that? It's called a Versatool. Yeah, Handy Versatool. This is by Handy Quilter. And supposedly you can just do all kinds of different shapes with the way this one is configured. And some straight lines. I specifically learned how to use the straight lines and the measurements here and how that works, and got some hands-on training with that. So that was very interesting. And also some free motion ideas. One of the things I thought was pretty cool is we didn't actually do this in the class, but it was suggested that we get even coloring pages out and sew them on but run your needle on the outline of the figure in the paper, and then use the powder chalk, not the powder, what I think it is, powder chalk or chalk powder, and put that through the holes. So you run it through your domestic machine on the lines, and that leaves the little holes, and then you can put that design on your quilt and then free motion around it. So I got the chalk to be able to do that, or the powder, and I'm going to try something like that. You could draw your own designs as well on paper and do that same thing if you don't feel like you could, you're experienced enough yet for, free motioning that just out of your head, which, it's kind of like training wheels. You can try that first and then go on to trying some of those same types of designs, free motion without that help. I'm trying to think what else we talked about. Just a lot of different things. It was also sort of like my long arm meeting where, exchange ideas and, give helpful hints to each other and things like that. Now that monthly meeting that I go to is Saturday. It was this past Saturday, and I will not have been able to go to that either. So I hate that I missed that, but I'll just go next month. So if you have a long arm. Try to take as many classes as you can. And if any of you has used this handy Versa tool and you have some helpful hints on how to use this or what you've used it for, what it works well with, please put that in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions on that and still have lots to learn. So I'm anxious to get another quilt on the long arm soon, and I'm thinking it should be the Blues Boutiques one because I want to get that charity project over with for now. Since I have, the quilt top, I need to go on and quilt that so that we can get started on our auction for it. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then also on the bow tie blocks that I showed you on the design wall on Friday, I wanted to show you how my stack has gone down of my 3.5-inch scraps. And these are repeats. So if I use the rest of these, they will be repeated in that quilt. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. Even though I would love to just grab some fat quarters out of my stash and put some more variety in it, I think I'm going to make myself go ahead and use this because I like all of these fabrics that are in here. There's a ton of this green right here that I really love. This was one of my favorite fabrics that I had used in a project. I don't know if you can see that. Let me put some behind it. There you go. I don't know what this is. I'm sure I probably got it at Joann's, but it feels like a really good quality. And I used this in a floral quilt that I made years and years ago that I gifted to someone, and I just had these long 3.5-inch strips. So I went ahead and cut it down into squares. So that's perfect for my bow ties, and I got a ton of those. So that will be kind of another one of the, I probably could do, I don't know, 5 or 6 more of those blocks just out of this. So that will kind of be another bow tie block that'll kind of, tie the whole quilt together, I think. And then there's some others in here of that tone. And there's also some bright ones. I was a little bit I didn't say anything on Friday about this, but I was a little bit hesitant about using the white ones, the white prints that I have, or white-ish prints that I have. I think I have, I'm looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 blocks in there that have that. And at first I was thinking, I don't know if I want those in there. But I think if I go ahead and do a couple more and spread them out more, I think I can do one, probably maybe 3 more with these, and just kind of spread those out through my whole quilt and take a black and white picture or edit a picture to be black and white and see if I can't disperse those. It's the same thing with the dark ones. It's a good pattern really for mediums. It's a really good pattern for mediums. You can throw all your mediums in there and there's no your eye goes here and there because there's lights and darks. But I am including some lights and darks, and I'll just make sure they get spread out good. So yeah, this pile is basically going to go away, and I will no longer be cutting 3.5-inch squares as scraps. So yeah, and I took you saw the bird quilt that I showed you on Friday. That has generated some scraps, so I'm going to get right on that and keep that up so that I don't have scraps in any sort of container in here. Rather, I cut them first and put them in the places they belong. I hope I can do what I say. I like to cut scraps, so I don't think I have any problem doing that. Okay, what else? I want to talk to you about the berry wreath quilt. I said I was going to talk to you about that, and using the glue, the precision glue by Acorn. yeah, I'll just tell you my experience with it. Now the berry wreath, you all know, it's this block right here. There's going to be a whole quilt of this. And if you look really close, these little dudes right here have 4 sewing flips on them. And I'll show you. This is what one looks like before you sew it into the block. So that is helping to go ahead and glue those. What I did this past week is I glued the 2 opposite ones and left it overnight. I had those all spread out over my cutting table. I came back the next day and sewed those, and then the end of that day, then I went back and did a dot of glue on the opposite ones, and then the day after that sewed all those. So that wasn't too bad to do it like that. I think it's less painful than actually trying to hold each one and chain piece all of those. It kind of breaks it up enough. Now, I won't say that that is saving you any time. It probably isn't. But I think it's, like I say, I think it's just less painful than fiddling with all of these little things all in one sitting. I kind of like breaking it up. So I have these, and then there's 4 different ones. I have 2 sets of these done. So I have 2 more sets of these to do. I think there's 24 in each pile. And then I've started on these ones, these bigger ones, which is, let's see, it's this one right here. So it only has 2 sides, 2 corners that have the sewing flips, and these are a little bigger. So I went ahead and got some of these prepared just to kind of break it up a little bit, because I need that. And then I did the same thing. I did the glue one night, and then now I'm ready to sew them. So I can just sit here and sew all of these. I think these are 24 as well. So there's a bunch more of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different ones of those. Is that right? I'm not sure. There's a bunch, there's more of these than there is of these, thank goodness, because these are so tiny to work with. So these aren't bad at all, because you can get the whole thing done in one fell swoop. You can do your gluing, wait, and then do your sewing. So not too bad. Not too bad. A lot of pieces, but I have everything numbered already of what it is. And then for my stitch and flips, I have those in these little bags, and they're marked according to what they are, and it's easy to see what goes together without having to think about it too much. So I see this. I know I've just had this one block for a week and a half now, or a week. I think it's been a week. But I think very soon I'll have a whole bunch more. And these sections are really fun to do. The glue's working well. I would do it for a project like this. I would use the glue again. But for like my, see now it's staying pretty good. For like my bow tie blocks, I don't need to do it for that. I really don't, because those are, it's putting 1 3/4 inch corners on one of these. It's just not worth gluing and sewing. I can just lay that on there and just sew them. And I'm doing them block by block. I'm not chain piecing those. So, yeah. Well, I am chain piecing some. I'll get a bunch of them cut up and then I'll chain piece them. But, yeah, it's not as extensive as this project, where every little piece, there's 24 of them in each block. So the glue's okay. I like it for this kind of project, but I probably wouldn't use it all the time. We'll see. It might be something I grow to love more and want to use more, or it might be something I abandon altogether. I really don't know. Okay, so that's what I needed to say about that. And then also I have a purchase that came in from Hawthorne Fabrics, I think it is. I somehow got an email from them. I don't think I've ever purchased from them before, but I got this email talking about a big pre-cut sale. And this is Botanica by Wyndham. It's very pretty. It has 27 in it. I think it was $84. That's pretty good for one this big. It is. So 27. It was some kind of really good sale, like 40% off or something. Because I think it was well over $100 regular priced. So this is a bright bundle that I can use for something. Isn't it funny how we change the way we buy fabric over time? You kind of have a certain way you started out at one point, and it's just kind of evolved into something else. I mean, there for a long time I was buying half yards. I was thinking half yards are the way to go. You can make any project with enough half yards in a line. And now I'm doing more fat quarters. And then if I have to go search for big border fabric or something like that, I can usually find it. Random fat quarters? No, I don't need random fat quarters. 2 or 3 or 4 or I'd say less than 10 fat quarters in a line. I'll never use that probably. I'll never get that used. It's just not enough to do anything with, really, for any sort of pattern. I mean, if you do bags and project bags and things like that, it'd be good for that, but I don't do a lot of that. Maybe I will someday, and that'll be my thing. I don't know. I'm just trying to be smarter. I'm trying to only get things when they're really on sale and not just be tempted to buy things that I'm not sure if I'm going to use, but I kind of like it and it's not that expensive or whatever to buy a small amount. I mean, you can buy a yard of something that's gorgeous, you love it, but what can you really, really do with it? I know I preach about this all the time, and I'm evolving as well. I'm sure some of the opinions I have about it from the beginning of this year will be maybe a little different from next year or the year after that. I don't know. But I still have a lot of random fat quarters and random 1 yards and things like that. And they're not moving. So I'm not buying any more of that. Okay, so what else? I'm looking around. I'm trying to think. What else can I chat with you about? I think that's probably about it, but I do have the art quilt. If I think of anything else, I'll tell you at the end of this. But before that, I want to tell you that Wednesday's video will actually take place on Thursday. You will get to see it on Thursday. So I'm not going to call it a Thursday video because I don't have a Thursday video. So the Wednesday video will be on Thursday. That's about all I could do to squeeze that in this coming week. But I wanted to squeeze it in for you. And I want to do something. So you'll just have to wait and see what that is. Okay, this quilt is going to be right here to take a look at it. It's called Eye of the Storm, 96 by 96. It's by Susie Webster of Apple Valley, Minnesota. And it says here, Susie designed and set this quilt, cutting all the pieces with an AccuQuilt die, Storm at Sea. That's the name of the die, Storm at Sea. She also chose the Island Boutique Twilight Glow fabric line. Machine piecing was fun because she could see the design appearing as she pieced more blocks. Machine quilted by Kathy Shearer and juried into the Minnesota Quilt Show in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I love the shape of that as well, and the actual color palette of the batiks is very bright and sunny, and that buttery background fabric is just yummy. I love that. I love it. And everything just kind of shines off of it very nicely. I like that. Eye of the Storm is the name of it. And she used the die, AccuQuilt die called Storm at Sea. I didn't know the dies had names, fancy names like that. I don't have an AccuQuilt, but that's pretty neat that she was able to make those shapes with it. And it turns out to be this kind of curved in block that you can turn different ways. Yeah, very nice. I love it. Lots of nice dense quilting on there too. Machine quilted. Okay, so that's what we have this week for Monday Quilt Chat. I encourage you to get busy this week as well and continue to sew a little something every day and get your projects done, and that way you'll feel really good about starting new ones, because we always want to start new ones. And also, I really don't have a ton of boxes like I used to, project boxes that actually had projects in them. I have the Happy Days still. I have the Peaceful Baskets, which is the Sew Sampler. I have the State Stars, which is the foundation paper piecing. And then I have Harriet's Journey still. I have the ongoing 16 patch, the Berry Wreath, and the ongoing A Square and a Square. So I don't think that's too bad. Some of you might think it's pretty bad, but I used to have a lot more than that. So I don't know how many that is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 7 or 8. That's what it is. I think it's 7 actually. Well, I have the bow tie, so that's 8. 8's not bad. I don't think 8 is bad at all. And many of them are on the way to being done. Now, I did not count the batiks, the blues batiks, but that's going away soon too. So, listen to me rationalize about my projects. Do you do that? I bet you do. Anyway, keep working on them, and we'll get them done. And in the meantime, we'll start some more, because that's what we do. All right, have fun quilting this week, and I will see you on Thursday for that Wednesday video, and then back around on Finish It Friday for our finishes. So have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.